Hello again, I am Blunty, as yet still unable to find out when or if I will be able to pre-order or even just buy a PlayStation 5. But last week I did publish a video about the controller because I bought the controller separately with the intent of getting a feel for it, see if it was any good for PC use, and I got some flack in that video from people who didn't actually watch the video for testing it on PC without testing its full capabilities on a PlayStation. I wish people would watch videos before they comment, but a man can dream. So anyway, since I made that video, the Steam drivers for this have been enhanced somewhat. There's still no magical force feedback trigger support thing, but they have enhanced the rumble feature, so it works fully, properly, and more reliably now. They have also updated it so you can control the color of the light bar and the light intensity, or turn it off completely if you like as well. So that's all nice. This is essentially 100% compatible now. We're just waiting on and hoping for support for those triggers, and maybe PC game devs will start building that into their games too. Wouldn't that be nice? Because I hear nice things about that. I haven't been able to try it myself, but I hear nice things. My friend Ali praises it to high heaven. Anyway, since that last video, my Xbox Series X has arrived, and with it, of course, an Xbox Series X controller. Functionally very similar to the last generation controller, of course, as we all know, but I figured we'd still do a video on it, much like I made a video about this, giving my initial impressions of it, with an eye to especially people thinking about picking one up for using on PC gaming. But let's have a chat about the difference between this controller, and if it's worth buying one of these if you just have a PC, or if indeed, like me, you have an Xbox Series X, but you still game on PC. Maybe you're thinking about, well, should I buy a second one of these and replace the old one of these? So here are the big differences. D-pad. And let me hold that up to the microphone for you. Now let me show you what this one sounds like. So, much louder D-pad, but that's because it's incredibly tactile now. Very clicky, very secure. I like the new sort of well design. It's a deeper indent than it was on the old D-pad. So your thumb sort of sits right in the center of it. It's round instead of cross-shaped, which I'm not a huge fan of. I like the more distinct feeling of a proper cross D-pad, but it's still pretty damn good. But yeah, this is a huge step up from the relatively mushy D-pad on the old controller, and of course it's way better than the mushy mess that this separated crossbar thing. Why is Sony still doing this, by the way? Why are they still doing this separated mushy D-pad crap? It's horrible. It's or it has been horrible. This is an incredibly good D-pad. Would it be good for retro games? You know, it's okay. It's a bit loud, really, but it's nice and tactile at least, so there's that. The other praiseworthy thing on this versus the old controller is the grip. So the old controllers have a very fine texture on them, which is, you know, it's a little bit grippy, that's fine. This has a much coarser texture on it. We'll see if we can get the camera to focus in so we can get a good idea about it there. And the grip is a lot more secure on this. The instant you pick it up, it just sits in your hand. It doesn't slide around, but it doesn't feel sticky or grippy or anything like that. It's just, you know, it's just texture molded into plastic, so it's not going to degrade over time and get goopy or anything like some of those rubbery grips can do. But yeah, that's a huge improvement. And of course, they haven't changed the shape. Well, they might have changed it very slightly, but it feels identical in your hand, which is one of my favorite things about using this controller. It's incredibly comfortable to use for many hours on end. So, better D-pad, better grip. Everything else feels pretty much identical. The buttons feel identical. The thumbsticks feel identical. They're probably the same hardware for all I know. So the last thing is that little guy there. That's the media share button. You can set that up in a few different ways on the Xbox Series X. Either a tap or a hold to do a couple of different things. You can start and stop recordings, or you can do time-lapse recording, so you can record the last minute or 30 seconds or whatever, depending on how you've got it set up. Or you can tap it to set a screenshot, or you can have that tap or hold in whatever combination you like. Start and stop recording, do the loop thing, or screenshot. Unfortunately, you can't have all three different options on the same button. I would like a hold, maybe a double tap, and then a tap to do all three different things instead of having to choose two different things to assign to one button. I don't know why they didn't do that. Maybe they will in a future update. But one thing I would like to see, if using this on a PC, I would like to be able to assign that a custom function on PC. I would love to be able to use that to start and stop my NVIDIA, you know, Shadowplay recordings, or indeed the AMD Relive recordings by using that, because, you know, I've got that set up on my Stream Deck at the moment on a shortcut button, and I've obviously got keyboard shortcuts for it as well, but in every case that means taking my hand off the controller to hit that shortcut button. So if I could assign that to do my PC recording as well, so I never have to take the hand off the controller when I'm recording clips or whatnot, or screenshots. That'd be really nice. So hopefully someone will figure that out along the way. Maybe Steam will build it in, maybe Windows will build it into the default driver, maybe there'll be a third-party program. I don't know. All I know is I want it. So, long story short, I like this. I like this better because of the way it feels. The D-pad is better. The grip is better. Yeah, the grip, you know, there was a lot of praise heaped on the PlayStation controller for the better grip, but this is still more slippery than this on the old controller. So this is even better. So as far as grip goes, that's better than it was on the DualShock 4, but it's still not as good as the old Xbox controller, and the new Xbox controller is even better still. D-pad, much, much better than that. Much better than that. And of course, we've got the share button there. Otherwise, everything I loved about this still retains. So the question is, will I be buying a second one of these for use on my PC for gaming, so I can avoid the rigmarole of jumping hoops and reconnecting and disconnecting, reconnecting, disconnecting every time I move this between PC and or Xbox Series X? Yeah, I'm absolutely buying a second controller. No question at all. I am retiring the old controllers and replacing them with these new ones because they're just better in several small ways, but better. So, you know, opportunity. And my old controllers are getting close to the point where I need to replace them anyway. I made a video recently where I replaced one of the thumbstick sets on one of my other controllers that I use, and this one's starting to wear out too. There's something about the way I use controllers that wears out that top edge of that thumbstick. Something about the way I move my thumbs and my sticks, or how grippy my thumb is or something, but that leading edge of the thumbstick on the left-hand side always wears out on Xbox controllers. So, yeah, probably going to face the same thing on these because, as far as I can tell, they are identical sticks and rubbery tops anyway. There you go. Thank you for watching. Hope this has been interesting, informative, and or useful. I am Blunty, and we'll catch you next time. And thanks, as always, to the patrons floating up above there. Your support means a ton to me. I really do appreciate it. Thank you ever so much.